You know that feeling? It's 11 p.m., the house is dead quiet, you're staring at your monitor, and the blue light is just burning a hole into your retinas. You've got Facebook Ad Manager open in one tab, a half-written blog post in another, and you're trying to figure out why your conversion rate has totally flatlined. You are trying to be the writer, the data scientist, the designer, and the strategist all at once, and it is just exhausting.
And the classic solopreneur shuffle. You're doing everything, but it feels like you're accomplishing nothing.
Exactly. It's the paralysis of the modern marketer. I mean, we have more tools than ever, but somehow we have less time. The cognitive load of switching hats, going from like creative artist to cold analyst in 5 minutes is massive. It burns you out faster than the actual work does.
It does, and that context switching is the killer. It's not the work, it's the mental tax of changing gears.
That is exactly what we are unpacking today. We're doing a deep dive into a really fascinating concept from marketing expert Corey Hames. It's about stopping that late-night shuffle. We're looking at how to build an AI marketing dream team. And I want to be clear right up front, we are not talking about just asking ChatGPT to write a blog post and, hoping for the best.
Right, because that's the mistake everyone makes. They treat AI like a magic 8-ball. You just shake it and hope for a good answer. What we're looking at today is treating AI like a staff, a department. We're talking about installing 10 specific specialized personas or skills that act like individual employees with very specific job descriptions.
A 10-person marketing department for free. I love the sound of that. So the roadmap for this deep dive is pretty cool. We're going to build this team layer by layer. We'll start with the creatives, move to the outreach engine, head into the science lab, which I'm a little scared of, to be honest, and finally, meet the boss.
The science lab is where the money is made, so don't be too scared. But let's start where every business starts, the creative team.
Let's do it. So, expert number 1, the page conversion optimizer. This one hits close to home because I've definitely spent hours picking fonts for a landing page, thinking that was the work.
We all have. We obsess over the aesthetics, the colors, the vibe, the logo placement. But this agent, the page conversion optimizer, it doesn't care about your font choice. It puts on a critic hat. It's looking for friction.
Define friction in this context for me.
Friction is anything that causes even a millisecond of hesitation in the user's brain. And the problem is, as the business owner, you're blind to it. You built the house, you don't see the cracks, you know what you meant to say. This AI agent acts like a psychologist. It looks at your headline and asks, does this actually address a fear, or is this just a clever pun that nobody understands?
The source material had a great example of this regarding a productivity app. The generic headline was, "Organize your life better," which sure sounds fine, but the optimizer just tore it apart.
It did. It suggested changing it to "stop pulling all-nighters."
Whoa, that is a visceral difference.
All right. It is. Organize your life is a vague promise. It's vitamin marketing. Stop pulling all-nighters as a painkiller. It implies the AI understands the consequence of the problem. That's what this expert does. It shifts you from talking about features to talking about benefits. It forces you to answer this so what question.
It raises a probing question for me, though. Why is it so incredibly hard to critique our own work? Why do we need a robot to tell us our headline is boring?
It's context blindness. We are so deep in our own context. We know the product, we know the history, we know the jargon, that we assume the visitor knows it too. The AI provides objective distance. It doesn't care about your feelings. It cares about clarity. It simulates the cold, impatient eyes of a stranger who just landed on your site.
That is valuable. Okay, so the optimizer fixes the structure, but we still have blank page syndrome. We need to fill the empty boxes with words. Enter expert number 2, the professional copywriter. Now, I have to play devil's advocate here. I've seen generic AI writing. It loves words like unlock, unleash, and tapestry. It sounds like a bad high school valedictorian speech.
It does. In today's fast-paced digital landscape, it's just fluff. The reason AI does that is because it's trained to be agreeable and safe. But the professional copywriter persona is different because it's forced to use frameworks. It doesn't just write text. It constructs an argument.
You mentioned frameworks. The deep dive highlights things like ADA and PAS. Can we break those down?
Sure. ADA is classic. Attention, interest, desire, action. But PAS is where the magic happens, especially for pain point marketing. Problem, agitation, solution.
PAS is interesting because it seems almost negative. You start with the problem.
You have to. You have to validate the user struggle. The example from the deep dive was for a meal prep service. A generic prompt would just say, buy our healthy food. The copywriter agent using PAS starts with the problem. It's 6 p.m., the kids are hungry, and you're exhausted.
Okay, I feel seen.
Right. Then the agitation twisting the knife a little. Do you really want to feel the guilt of the drive-through again? Do you want that sluggish feeling tomorrow morning?
Oof, that guilt trip is effective.
And then, only then, does it offer the solution. Dinner on the table in 5 minutes. No guilt, just health. See, it's not just words, it's an emotional journey.
I can see how some people might think using a framework makes the writing feel robotic, though, like painting by numbers. Doesn't it lose the soul?
That's a common worry. But think of the framework as the skeleton. It holds the creature up. You, the human, provide the flesh and blood, the empathy, the specific details. The AI just ensures the bones are in the right place so the argument doesn't collapse.
Fair enough. So we've got the structure, we've got the persuasive copy, we're ready to hit publish route.
Absolutely not.
I knew you were going to say that.
You need expert number 3, the copy editor. And this is crucial. The writer and the editor are two different brains, even in a human. When you're writing, you're in creative mode, generative, messy, flowy. If you try to edit while you write, you block the flow. But if you publish without editing, you look unprofessional.
This is the strict teacher with the red pen.
It is. It's looking for passive voice. It's looking for sentences that are over 20 words long. It's ensuring the tone is consistent. There's a prompt in the source material that literally asks for a before and after of a paragraph.
Uh-huh.
And it's shocking how much better the after is just by cutting the fluff.
So why not just let the copywriter agent edit itself? Why the separation? Why can't I just say, write this and make it good?
Because of what you could call hallucinated brilliance. The AI thinks what it just wrote is perfect. By engaging a separate agent, a separate chat window or context, you force a modality shift. You are explicitly telling the system, stop creating, start critiquing. It acts as a quality control gate.
I like that. A quality control gate. Okay, so that's our creative team. We've built the asset. Now we need to get it in front of people. Let's move to segment B, the outreach engine. And we have to start with the granddaddy of them all, email.
Expert number 4. And before anyone rolls their eyes, email is not dead.
I feel like we hear email is dead every single year, usually from people trying to sell us a course on TikTok ads.
Exactly. And every year, the data proves them wrong. The source mentions a return of $36 for every $1 spent on email marketing. That is astronomical, but only if you do it right. Most people just blast BUY now emails until everyone unsubscribes.
Guilty as charged. So what does the email specialist agent do differently?
It builds sequences. It understands the narrative arc. It takes a stranger and moves them from who are you to I trust you to take my money. It maps out, for example, a 4-day flow. Day 1 is pure value, no pitch. Day 2 might be a horror story.
A horror story.
And vampires, a business horror story. What happens if you don't solve the problem? For a real estate agent, maybe the story is about a couple who tried to sell their home alone and lost $20,000. It raises the stakes.
And then day 3?
Social proof, showing that others have survived the horror story by working with you.
And the probing question here, what is the single most critical component the AI focuses on? Because I can write a great email, but if nobody opens it?
The subject line, always. It's the gatekeeper. If the subject line is boring, the brilliant email inside never exists. The AI balances curiosity with clarity. It avoids clickbait, but it demands attention. It creates that open loop in your brain that you just have to close.
Okay, so email nurtures the people we know, but what about the billions of people who don't know us? We need Google. Enter expert number 5, the SEO auditor. Now, SEO usually feels like math homework. It's scary.
It feels technical. People think they need to be coders. But the SEO auditor skill acts like a librarian. Imagine your website as a book. If the cover is torn, the title is missing, and the pages are glued together, the librarian Google is going to hide it in the basement. They aren't going to put it in the front window. This agent checks the condition of your book.
It's checking for things like keywords and H1 tags, right?
It's deeper than just keywords. It scans for semantic gaps. For example, you might write a great post about hiking boots. But if you never use the phrase ankle support or waterproof or traction, Google's algorithm gets confused. It thinks, is this really about hiking boots? How can you talk about boots without mentioning traction? The AI spots those gaps instantly.
So it's not that SEO is just for coders, it's that the technical checks are just tedious.
Correct. The agent handles the tedious technical check, leaving you to focus on the content quality.
Now here's where it gets really interesting. Expert number 6, the programmatic SEO strategist. When I read this part of the deep dive, my jaw hit the floor a little bit. We're talking about scale here that humans can't really do manually.
This is the big leagues tactic. I mean, think about TripAdvisor or Yelp. When you search best hotel in Austin, you get a page. Best hotel in Boston, you get a page. Do you think they have a human writer typing out those thousands of pages one by one?
That would take a century.
Exactly. They use programmatic SEO. They create one master template, a head term, plus a variable, best hotel and city name. Then they plug in a database. This AI agent helps you design that architecture.
It's like building a factory instead of handcrafting a chair.
Perfectly put. It helps you identify the patterns in your niche. If you run a job board, you don't write 500 articles. You build a structure for remote job title jobs and let the data fill the pages.
But I have to stop you there. Doesn't Google hate duplicate content? Isn't that a penalty waiting to happen? If I just swap Austin for Boston, isn't that just spam?
That's the catch. And that's what the strategist ensures you avoid. You cannot just copy-paste the same text and swap the city name. You need unique data points for every page. Average salary in Austin versus Boston, cost of living, top industries. The AI helps you map out what unique data you need so each page is valuable on its own.
That is wild. It really shifts your thinking from writer to architect. You're building systems.
And that's the theme here. You're becoming a manager of systems, not just a doer of tasks.
Speaking of systems, let's enter the science lab. Segment C. This is where we stop guessing and start measuring. Expert number 7 is the analytics tracking specialist.
This is where dreams go to die or to thrive. Most people live on vanity metrics.
Likes,
views, impressions. They feel good. They give you a little dopamine hit. But they don't pay the rent. The analytics specialist forces you to look at KPIs, key performance indicators, leads, cost per acquisition, conversion rate.
The source mentioned something really specific here, filtering out internal traffic. I laughed because I am definitely the person who visits my own website 50 times a day just to see how it looks.
And you are ruining your own data. If you have 100 visitors and 50 of them are you, your conversion rate looks terrible. You think your business is failing, but really you're just obsessing. The AI acts as a data translator. It helps you set up filters and tools like Google Analytics 4, which is notoriously confusing, so you're looking at real customer behavior, not your own anxiety.
So once we have clean data, we start asking questions. What if I changed this headline? What if the button was red? This brings us to expert number 8, the A/B testing designer.
This is about the scientific method. Most people just change something on their site and see what happens, but that's dangerous. Maybe sales went up because it's payday, not because you changed the button.
Right. Correlation is not causation.
Exactly. The A/B testing designer calculates statistical significance.
Explain that like I'm 5.
Okay. Imagine you flip a coin 3 times, and it comes up heads 3 times. You might conclude, wow, this coin only lands on heads. That's a bad business decision. You need to flip it 100 times to know the truth. The AI tells you, based on your current traffic, you need to run this test for 14 days to be sure it's not just luck.
What's the danger of testing without this agent?
You call a winner too early. You make a permanent change that actually hurts your business, all because you had one lucky afternoon. The AI prevents that.
Okay, expert number 9. We're in the home stretch. The user is ready to sign up. They're on the form. And then they leave. This is the sign-up flow optimization expert.
The last mile problem. You've done all the work, and you lose them at the finish line because you asked for their phone number.
Why do we do that? Why do we ask for so much info?
Greed. Pure data greed. We want to know everything about them just in case. But every extra field is cognitive load. It makes the user think, why do they need my phone number? Are they going to call me?
Yeah.
And once they start thinking, they stop clicking. We want zero thinking. We want a slippery slide.
So this expert looks at your form and just starts cutting.
Ruthlessly. Do you really need their job title right now? No. Delete it.
Ooh.
It often suggests breaking forms into steps. Get the email first. Then once they're committed, ask for the name. It reduces the perceived effort.
I love the idea of reducing cognitive load. Just let them in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Get the relationship started. You can ask for the phone number later.
So we have our creatives, our outreach, and our scientists. But a team of specialists needs a leader. If the SEO guy wants to write robot text and the copywriter wants to write poetry, who wins?
That's expert number 10, the marketing strategist.
Your boss.
The boss. The strategist sees the forest, not the trees. It aligns everything to a business goal. The example in the deep dive was a flower shop. The strategist isn't worrying about the H1 tag. It's looking at the calendar. It's saying, okay, January is retention, February is Valentine's prep, March is partnerships.
I was surprised by that. Can AI really understand something as human as seasonality?
Surprisingly, yes, because Seasonality is just a pattern of human behavior. The AI has access to vast amounts of historical data. It knows when people buy flowers, and knows when people join gyms,
January.
and it knows when people buy grills.
Yeah.
It maps tactics to those timelines.
So we have this incredible team of 10. But here's the practical question, the technical implementation. How do I actually hire these robots? Do I need to be a coder? Do I need to install Python?
This is the best part. No, you don't. These experts are just text files. They're open source prompts written in Markdown.
Markdown.
It's just a fancy way of formatting test, using bolding, bullet points, headers. It helps the AI understand the structure of the instructions.
So it's literally copy and paste.
It is copy and paste. You go to the repository, Corey Haynes has these on GitHub. You open the file for copywriter, you copy the text, and you paste it into your chat with Claude or ChatGPT before you start working.
It's like handing a job description to a temp worker right as they walk in the door.
Precisely. You're saying, for the next 20 minutes, you are not a generic AI. You are a professional copywriter using the PAS framework. Go.
I have to admit something here. I often struggle with what they call prompt drift. I start a chat, and 5 minutes later, the AI is giving me generic advice again. It forgets who it's supposed to be.
We all do. I still wrestle with it myself. It's a known issue with large language models. Their context window gets muddy. That's why this method is so powerful. By pasting that persona definition at the start, often called a system message, you anchor the AI.
Yeah.
You create a boundary. It keeps the employee in character.
That anchoring concept is key, so if I switch tasks, I should probably start a new chat.
100%. Don't ask the copywriter chat to check your analytics. Open a new window. Hire the new expert. Keep the context clean.
Okay, let's unpack the big picture here. We've gone from being a frantic solopreneur staring at a blank screen at 11 p.m. to being a manager of experts.
That is the shift. The future of work isn't about working harder or learning every single skill yourself. You cannot possibly master SEO and copywriting and data science and strategy. It's impossible. You'll die trying.
Right.
The shift is knowing which expert to call off the bench. It's about being the conductor of the orchestra, not trying to play every instrument at once. You don't need to hire 10 people. You just need to install 10 skills.
That's a powerful reframing. Instead of, I have to do this, it's, I need to direct this.
Exactly.
So for the listener who is feeling a mix of excitement and maybe a little overwhelmed because we just threw 10 personas and a lot of technical terms at them, what is the move? What do they do tonight?
The move is to do less. Do not try to overhaul your entire business tonight. Do not try to set up programmatic SEO and GA4 tracking in one sitting. You will crash.
Just pick one.
Pick one. What is the one thing you've been avoiding?
No.
Is it that landing page that isn't converting? Great. Just use the page conversion optimizer. Give it 20 minutes. That's it.
I love that. Start with the friction, fix one thing.
And once you see the result, when you see that headline transform or that email sequence write itself, you'll realize you aren't alone at that desk anymore. You have a team.
The future belongs to those who build the best team, whether those team members are biological or silicon.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
That's it for this deep dive. Go meet your new employees. We'll see you next time.